You know, I really thought that this package was gonna be like a Terminator review sample or something like that, but this is definitely not that. This feels like a thing, and I have to wonder what exactly we have going. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! What? Does this look a little familiar? I mean, you might have guessed already that this is, of course, the Worker Wasteland Ranger. But now she really thick. And does thick make it better? Well, in my opinion, yes, thick always makes it better. If you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you would know that I love gluing multiple blasters together, because my theory is that shooting 2 darts is always better than shooting 1. You have a better chance to hit, and yes, you are consuming double the ammo, but at this point, does it really matter? Because, I mean, 1 dart versus 2, 1 dart might not hit, 2 darts probably will, so forth. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of stuff like this, and, well, it looks like a Goblin Deuce. It looks like the airsoft kind of shotgun shorty thing like this, and, honestly, you already know what this is if you've seen the original Wasteland Ranger review, but for those of you that haven't, this thing is kind of freaking cool, because it's a break action, breech loaded, and hey, they look like shotgun shells now, which is kind of cool, although they're absolutely flippin' massive compared to any kind of 12 gauge shell or anything like that. Well, it actually works kind of like a firearm. So you do have to load the shells, which is the part that's kind of like a firearm, but not. So to do that, you pull this thing out of the grip. It does have a nice magnet on it, and it feels really nice. This is well designed. And you just kind of press it in there until it clicks, and that will prime your shells. Then you take darts and put them in here. These blue ones seem to fit really, really nicely. These ones don't at all. So dart fit is going to be a priority for you, but you load those up and then you pull back on this right here and you can breech load it and you can load shells into it, which is all super freaking cool except for the dart popping out the front. But where this thing kind of falls apart is the performance, because the entire mechanism for this thing working is rubber bands. Rubber bands work the catch, rubber bands work the actual thing, and basically you're just stretching back a plate that catches like a slingshot, and then you're loading in darts, and then the slingshot plate will move forward when you pull the trigger. So as you can see right there, these little firing pins come out when you pull the trigger. Something I should probably point out is that you could take these shells apart for various reasons, like leaving that one primed and then breaking it, but you simply unscrew that. Be very careful because all these threads and everything are 3D printed. Pull that up and you can see these bands right here. That's the entire propulsion mechanism for this blaster, and you can replace these obviously with like more rubber bands or way stronger rubber bands or, you know, what have you, and obviously with the catch as well. So there are some things you can do to try to get a little bit more power out of something like this, but you're not going to get a whole lot more out of it. It's a really interesting system, but to be perfectly honest, it probably doesn't need to exist, because it's very inefficient. Extremely, extremely inefficient. But darn if it doesn't work cool, because like I said, it works like an actual firearm, because once you prime it and everything like that, you don't even need the blaster. You could just put a dart in there and hit the back of that, and I mean, it fires a dart, and it fires it kinda okay, and releases the catch, and you know, it's interesting. It's very interesting. What is also kinda cool is the fact that these are staggered. Really kinda interesting to see in something like this. The performance is absolute garbage, but they are staggered. So why not? That's kinda cool. And you can lock it so where it will only fire one side. I mean, I guess it'd be cool if you could lock both sides. You can't, you can only lock one, but an interesting little thing. Mine actually got damaged right here. Looks like in transit it got hit by something, but I mean, it's 3D printed. It's very nice 3D printing, but it's not going to be the most durable thing ever. And if you saw the original Wasteland Ranger, it's kind of expensive for what it is. It's cool, and for a 3D printed object, it's not really that expensive, all things considered. But this is starting to get way more expensive, and I like this blaster. I keep it around, I play with it all the time. It's really fun for what it is. This is significantly cooler, but now I'm starting to get into the realm of, it's huge, it's bulky, it's way more expensive, and honestly, if you couldn't get sold on this, why would you go and make something like this? And honestly, if you're thinking something like that, this was never made for you. This was made for a very particular subset of people, people with lots of money, people who want this kind of thing and can't get it anywhere else, because let's face it, this kind of thing doesn't really exist in the hobby right now. Sure, you could cut down like a Busby double shot, but it's not going to be anywhere near this form factor or anything like that, so I kind of understand what's going on there. And if you're running a game, like, you know, some kind of huge LARP or something like that, you could use this as an objective, or if you're a player, you could just have a really cool, unique blaster, and you don't really need range at that point, so this would work good. In fact, I would say LARPers benefit the most from this blaster more than anyone else. I mean, they're the kind of people who use stock blasters and use weird blasters, and I mean, they still buy Mavericks by the truckload, so why the heck not? But for everybody else who wants something competitive, and yeah, this is obviously not going to do that. And there's still little things that I have questions about, like this massive guard right here that honestly almost ruins the comfort of the blaster. Thankfully, I have small hands, so it works pretty good for me, but yeah, this could probably be a little more ergonomic, but it fits me, and honestly, I still like this blaster, but Worker Kit sent this off to me, and honestly, can I recommend people pick it up? Because it's way more expensive, and it's more of the same. Some interesting new little features, but again, more of the same. I can't really convince those of you that want nothing but power, that are still kicking off the fact that, hey, the Terminator shell was just released, and that thing's a long shot shell, it's gonna hit really hard and be really cool. Why would I ever spend about as much money on that as I would on this? And I don't have an answer for you. I don't have anything. I will tell you that it's a cool toy, it's fun, it's interesting. Should it exist? Well, this is the natural kind of evolution of this, because I mean, what's better than one barrel? Two. I can focus on that, and dual wielding these things is kind of hilarious at this point. I never expected myself to be able to dual wield them, but of course, what does that help me when I have to break it open and reload the shells? And they do sell extra shells and stuff like that, so you can have a wide variety of these massive, like, I don't even, is this like a 4 gauge? It's huge. It's absolutely massive. I don't know, this is, it's fun, it's cool. The range seems slightly better than the last one, but really not by a whole lot. And most of you can probably just not get this one. But LARPers, seriously, pay attention. I mean, it's got like half a safety. Like, it just moves a little plate right there. I think you can see that. Yeah, this is, I don't really know what to say about this one, to be completely honest, but if you do want one, there is a link down in the description below to Worker Kit where you could pick one up. I mean, I would at least take a look at it, if you don't mind. I really thank them for them sending me out one of these, and I can certainly do something fun with them in the future, but yeah, I don't really know how to sell this to people who already hate the whole Wasteland Ranger thing. I think they knew their audience when they made this, and clearly this one did good enough for them to go into like Fusion 360 and then like cut it in half and add a second one and put it all together. I mean, obviously this one did something, so maybe you'll have to let me know down in the comment section. Does having 2 barrels actually make this worth the massive price tag? Because at this point, you have a shotgun, and as people in the comment section have tried to tell me, it's a shotgun, Walcom. It doesn't need to hit very far, and you know what? You're entirely right. I'm not going to say you're wrong on that one. So does it, being a shotgun, suddenly make it worthwhile? That is a very important question for something like this, because otherwise it's this. I kind of like it though. I actually do kind of like this thing. It's fun. I'll definitely try to run this at some point, because it would just be super interesting to shame somebody with this. But honestly, yeah, I don't think this is going to be a huge seller, but hopefully Worker knows something I don't. I'm just glad we have something like this in the hobby now, although I'd rather get a Goblin Deuce, even though those things don't seem to be obtainable anymore, and try to make that work with normal Nerf darts. I'm Walcom S7, thank you very much for watching this video, and of course I hope to see you in an entirely different one.
You gotta